Beneath Khufu's Great Pyramid, where stone has guarded secrets for millennia, science has collided with legend. In 2025, researchers discovered a hidden door, long sealed from the world. What awaited beyond left even the most seasoned scientists shaken. Could this secret chamber hold the key to rewriting everything we thought we knew about Egypt's greatest wonder and its most enduring mystery? The Great Pyramid of Giza. Long before most of the world we know today even existed, a monument was already standing tall on the Giza Plateau, the Great Pyramid. It has survived the fall of empires, kingdoms, and whole civilizations. For over 4,500 years, it has been more than just blocks of stone piled high. It is a giant puzzle in limestone, a message from ancient times that still has not been solved. But behind this towering monument lies the vision of a single man, a ruler who demanded that his legacy stretch beyond time itself. To understand the pyramid, we must first understand the pharaoh who commanded its creation. One pharaoh dared to build a tomb so vast, so precise, that it would house his body and proclaim his divinity for eternity. His name was Khufu, second ruler of Egypt's fourth dynasty, and the monument he left behind is the most famous in the world, the Great Pyramid of Giza. When Pharaoh Kufu ordered its construction around 2600 BC, the world was a very different place. The state of technology at the time was marked by the use of bronze tools, ropes, and wooden sledges. And yet, somehow, his architects and workers managed to build the largest pyramid the world would ever see. A tomb meant not just to house his body, but to immortalize his soul for eternity. At completion, it rose an astonishing 146.5 meters, the tallest human-made structure on Earth for nearly 3,800 years. Even today, without its shiny white limestone covering, the pyramid still stands tall at 138.5 meters. But numbers alone can't capture the true wonder of this monument. What really amazes scientists and historians is not just its height, but the unimaginable effort it took to build something so massive, with the tools available over 4,000 years ago. To build the pyramid, workers hauled about 2.3 million stone blocks, which together weighed nearly 6 million tons. Some of these blocks came from quarries in Aswan, well over 800 kilometers away, and each could weigh up to 80 tons. They were so heavy that even thousands of people pulling together would have struggled to move just one. How they were moved, lifted, and placed with only ropes, sleds, and simple tools still leaves historians amazed. That is just the beginning of the mystery. The weight of the stones was only part of the puzzle. What truly set the Great Pyramid apart was not just its size, but the purpose behind it. To the people of ancient Egypt, every chamber, passage, and block carried a meaning far beyond stone and sweat. The Great Pyramid was designed to be more than a tomb. For Egyptians of the Old Kingdom, pyramids were more than monuments of stone. They were portals to eternity. Pharaohs were seen not merely as kings, but as gods on earth. Death was not the end of life, but the beginning of a new journey. The pyramid was built as a kind of gateway to help Khufu's soul travel into the afterlife. Inside, they placed treasures, food, and statues to keep his spirit safe in case his body was ever harmed. The pyramid was not only built to protect Khufu's body from decay and thieves, but also to protect his life force. To the Egyptians, the body and the spirit were deeply connected. Protecting one meant protecting the other, and so every detail of the pyramid was designed with this belief in mind. The ancient Egyptians held the belief that in the event of the mummy's destruction, the life force could reside within a statue. That's why they placed hidden rooms, special chambers, and statues all around the pyramid complex, to ensure that Khufu could live forever. But the pyramid itself was only the heart of something much larger. To truly protect Khufu's soul, the Egyptians built an entire world around it. Around the Great Pyramid stood temples, smaller pyramids for his queens, and long stone paths reaching to the Nile. Together, they turned the Giza Plateau into a sacred city of the dead, a place built to give Khufu eternity. But if eternity was the goal, then secrecy was the method. The pyramid was laced with chambers, corridors, and false passages designed to confuse robbers and protect the pharaoh. Nevertheless, for all the rooms mapped by explorers over centuries, a haunting question remains. Are these the only chambers? There has been more debates about the existence of undiscovered chambers and secrets of the pyramid. From pharaohs to modern scientists, countless people have wondered if the pyramid is still guarding secrets beneath its stone skin. Even in ancient times, people believed the Great Pyramid was hiding more than it showed. In the 1100s, a ruler named Al-Aziz Uthman tried to tear it down, ordering his workers to remove it stone by stone. They struggled for months, but the job was far too hard. In the end, they could only leave a small scar on the smaller pyramid of Menkaure. This makes us wonder, if the pyramid was strong enough to survive that small scar, could it also be strong enough to conceal secrets that remain uncovered? Even today, archaeologists have always wondered if the Great Pyramid is hiding secret rooms and doors. In the Queen's Chamber, there are two small shafts that don't seem to go anywhere. And then there's the Big Void, discovered in 2017 with a special scanning technology called muon detectors. These discoveries only make the mystery bigger. If there are secret rooms, what could be inside them? Could the real tomb of Pharaoh Khufu still be hidden, safe from the robbers who stole from other parts of the pyramid? Maybe there are treasures, ancient writings, or even clues that could show us how the Egyptians managed to build such a huge monument using only simple Bronze Age tools. In our time, technology is catching up. For the first time in 4,500 years, scientists are peering past the stone, uncovering chambers no human has entered since the pyramid's completion. And with every discovery, the sense grows stronger that something extraordinary waits in the shadows of those hidden spaces. The Great Pyramid still holds secrets, and the real challenge is whether we are ready for what will happen when those secrets finally come to light. In 2017, and again in 2023, scientists discovered something within the Great Pyramid that fundamentally altered the course of history. And that was only the beginning. The Queen's Chamber and its secret doors. Deep inside the Great Pyramid was a room that amazed explorers for hundreds of years. People called it the Queen's Chamber, but that name was misleading. Long ago, Arab explorers thought it was built for a queen, but later experts believed it was never a burial place at all. A narrow passage led from the end of the Grand Gallery to the Queen's Chamber. About 5 meters before the chamber's entrance, there was a small drop of 60 centimeters, a spot where the floor was lower, leading into the room. But was this drop made deliberately, or was it a remnant of granite blocks that had been stolen long ago? Some experts said the floor had once stretched smoothly into the chamber, while others believed the step showed one of the many design changes made as the pyramid was built. The chamber was simple and plain, regardless of what the truth was. It was built from smooth limestone blocks with a tall, pointed ceiling that felt more like a holy place than a tomb. The walls had no writing, but on the east wall, about 5 meters up, there was a niche, a small cutout space. Its special ceiling showed it had a purpose, though no one knows for sure what it once held. Some believe it carried a statue of the king, or maybe his spirit watching over the room. Egyptologist Mark Lehner suggested it might have been a hidden space for spiritual rituals. Whatever was placed there was not meant to be seen by the living. But the Queen's Chamber hides more than bare walls and niches. It holds secrets that lay undiscovered for millennia. In 1872, explorers found two strange shafts hidden in the north and south walls of the chamber. Each was only about 20 centimeters wide and rose steeply through the pyramid's stone blocks. They twisted and turned, but never reached the outside. No one knows their true purpose. Were they meant for air? Or were they secret pathways for the king's soul to rise to the stars? Over a century later, in 1993, German engineer Rudolf Gantenbrink sent a small robot, Upuaut 2, named the Opener of the Mise, to crawl up the southern shaft. What it discovered shocked the world. The shaft ended not in open air, but at a small limestone door fitted with two mysterious copper handles. This strange slab was just 6 centimeters thick, and behind it, nothing. The robot tried the northern shaft but could not navigate its bend. Still, the mystery deepened. Why would anyone seal such narrow shafts with what looked like symbolic doors? In 2002, National Geographic sent its robot back into the shaft. This time, engineers drilled a tiny hole through the first door and slipped a fiber optic camera inside. The images sent chills through the archaeological community. Another blocking stone, rough-hewn, standing just 21 centimeters beyond the first. Two doors, back to back, forming a sealed passage no wider than a man's hand. Meanwhile, another robot explored the northern shaft, only to discover that it also ended in a limestone door, which was identical to the southern one, perfectly equidistant from the chamber. This extraordinary discovery led to a new challenge. If robots could see through the doors, could they actually reach the chambers beyond and uncover their secrets? The answer came years later, when Rob Richardson, professor of robotics at Leeds, accepted a challenge from Hong Kong dentist and inventor Dr. Tzi Chuen to build a robot capable of reaching the end of the shaft and revealing its secrets. For years, the small team worked tirelessly to design a machine light enough to navigate the tight passage, but strong enough to survive the climb. After almost 5 years of development, they succeeded. The robot weighed just 5 kilograms, allowing it to move gently along the shaft without causing damage. The shaft itself is incredibly narrow, just 20 centimeters by 20 centimeters, smaller than a sheet of A4 paper, and it stretches over 60 meters, twisting slightly along its route. For humans, it is impossible to enter, but the robot could creep along the passage, its camera capturing images no one had ever seen. What the robot revealed stunned researchers. About 50 meters in, it encountered a blocking stone, preventing further travel. Using a flexible camera arm, the team was able to peek past the stone, and there, inside a tiny hidden chamber, they found something astonishing. Colored symbols painted directly on the smooth limestone floor. Professor Richardson explained the significance. No one knows the purpose of the shaft. There has been speculation that it could be an air vent or perhaps access to a burial tomb, but the markings complicate that theory. Given the artwork, it is likely the shaft served a bigger purpose than acting as an air vent. But what that bigger purpose was remained a mystery. The discoveries were even more exciting than anyone expected. But because the deeper chambers were difficult to reach, many questions were still left unanswered. Security concerns in Egypt paused the exploration, but the robot preserved the footage it collected. Released in 2 parts on the Ancient Architects YouTube channel, it allowed the public, historians, and archaeologists to witness these mysterious chambers firsthand. Every frame raised new questions, fueling endless curiosity and debate. What makes the findings even more intriguing is the sheer precision of the shaft and chambers. The walls are made of polished limestone, the floor carefully leveled, and the painted symbols appear intentional. This hole was not a random gap in the pyramid's construction. It was designed for a purpose, deliberately hidden. and now revealed through modern technology. The story did not end there. In 2011, the Jedi Project deployed advanced micro-cameras to peer behind the first southern door. They found a tiny hidden chamber, its limestone walls marked with faint red hieroglyphs, possibly builders' graffiti, possibly something more. Even stranger, the inside of the door appeared polished, suggesting it was intended for ceremonial purposes. The copper handles, once thought to be useful, now seemed more like decoration, symbols placed on a door that was never meant to be opened. But the Queen's chamber had even more strange features. In 1872, 3 unusual objects were found inside: a granite ball, a wooden slat, and a copper hook shaped like a swallow's tail. They vanished for decades before resurfacing in museum archives. No one knew what they really meant. Were they tools? Ritual gifts? Or maybe special objects were left behind deliberately, like clues to a riddle that no one has solved yet. These unanswered questions pushed scientists to look deeper. If the pyramid could conceal strange objects here, what else might it hide? Armed with new scanning technologies, muon detectors, and endoscopes, scientists have re-examined these shafts with fresh eyes. Their findings confirm the suspicion. These air shafts are truly unique. They are passages leading to door-like blocks, sealed and intentional, embedded deep within the pyramid's core. And even more astonishing, newer robotic expeditions revealed a second door beyond the first. Behind one door, there was another door, hiding a secret inside an even bigger secret. But why were these doors built, and why were they locked so carefully? Secrets of Egypt's greatest monument. The Great Pyramid of Giza, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, stands as a remarkable example of human skill. People have studied its exterior for centuries, taking photos, making maps, and examining every detail. But inside, the pyramid is still full of mysteries, with hidden chambers and spaces that modern technology is only just beginning to reveal. Inside the pyramid, there are several well-known rooms. The King's Chamber holds Pharaoh Khufu's granite coffin. The Queen's Chamber is still a puzzle, and no one is completely sure what it was for. The Grand Gallery is a massive passage that leads up to the King's Chamber. These rooms show the ancient Egyptians were very skilled, using precise measurements and clever design, even knowing a lot about astronomy and geometry long before modern tools existed. The newly found spaces inside the pyramid make us wonder more than just about its design. Some experts think they might just be there to help support the giant weight of the stones, but others believe they could hide something much more important. Could one of these hidden rooms be Khufu's real tomb, still untouched after thousands of years? Over the centuries, pharaohs and their architects went to extraordinary lengths to keep tombs safe. They built false chambers, secret passageways, and stone blocks designed to confuse and stop thieves. Every hidden corridor and sealed room added another layer of protection, making it almost impossible for outsiders to reach the most sacred spaces. Preparing for the afterlife required incredible wealth. Pharaohs were buried with amulets, jewelry, and gold objects. Symbols of status meant to secure safe passage to the afterlife. But this wealth attracted thieves. Tomb raiding became a constant challenge, prompting architects to develop increasingly intricate defenses. Some chambers were built as decoys, false tombs designed to mislead grave robbers. The Egyptians perfected these strategies over centuries, creating dead ends, sealed corridors, and misleading passages to hide the real treasures. Thieves looted even the renowned pyramids of the Old Kingdom shortly after their burial. By the New Kingdom, pharaohs like Thutmose I relocated their tombs to the Valley of the Kings, choosing hidden, difficult-to-reach locations. The rough hills and tricky paths were natural obstacles, meant to confuse and tire out anyone trying to get in. Within the Great Pyramid, similar strategies may have been employed. The unknown chambers could represent false tombs, symbolic spaces, or architectural safeguards. But the possibility remains that one of these sealed spaces was intended as the true final resting place of Khufu, carefully concealed for eternity. Some theorists even suggest a ritual purpose. These hidden chambers may have served ceremonial functions related to the pharaoh's journey to the afterlife, or held sacred objects intended for spiritual protection rather than material wealth. The alignment, dimensions, and mysterious voids indicate a careful plan, far beyond simple structural necessity. But what could explain such secrecy? Modern tools, from muon scanning to robots, have revealed voids that seem impossible to explain fully. These discoveries hint at spaces deliberately sealed, waiting for human curiosity to catch up. Archaeologists and treasure hunters alike imagine the possibilities. Untouched artifacts, ceremonial items, or perhaps a burial chamber that has never seen light in thousands of years. But every search has one question that won't go away. What lies behind these locked doors? If Khufu's real chamber remains undiscovered, could it hide the pharaoh's secrets, or is it just another clever trick to fool tomb raiders? Every stone and locked passage only deepens the mystery and keeps the world on edge. Other hidden discoveries in the pyramid. Over the past decade, scientists have pushed the limits of technology to explore the Great Pyramid's hidden interior, revealing secrets that were long thought impossible to detect. Researchers are now mapping areas never visible to the human eye using non-invasive methods, yielding astonishing results. In 2017, the Scan Pyramids Project, an international collaboration, made a breakthrough using muon radiography. This technique harnesses cosmic rays to detect density differences within massive structures, essentially allowing scientists to X-ray the pyramid from the outside. What they found shocked the world. A vast empty space above the Grand Gallery, called the Big Void, is as big as a cathedral. It is about 98 feet long and 20 feet high, yet its purpose remains a mystery. Could it be a hidden burial chamber? Alternatively, it could be a structural feature intended to support the immense weight of the pyramid. Researchers also found smaller spaces near the entrance and above the Queen's chamber, suggesting that hidden rooms or passageways might still be inside. These discoveries, published in Nature, a scientific journal, were a big step forward in exploring the pyramid without digging, proving that the Great Pyramid still holds secrets despite centuries of study. Just as the world's curiosity reached its peak due to these discoveries, the Scan Pyramids team revealed another remarkable discovery: a 30-foot-long corridor situated above the pyramid's main entrance, near the north face. Measuring 6 feet wide and featuring a chevron-shaped roof with unfinished walls, this corridor was identified using cosmic ray muon detectors and explored further with an endoscopic camera inserted through a small crevice. Scientists believe it may have been built to distribute the pyramid's immense weight, preventing structural collapse. But its proximity to the entrance has sparked intense speculation. Could this corridor be a gateway to additional hidden chambers yet to be revealed? Other explorations show that Giza's mysteries might go much deeper. In 2022, researchers Corrado Malanga from the University of Pisa and Filippo Biondi from the University of Strathclyde used special radar called synthetic aperture radar to look underground. In a 2025 press release, they shared what they found: huge vertical cylinder-shaped structures almost 650 meters below the plateau, 5 similar multi-level buildings near the base of the Khafra Pyramid, 8 spiraling hollow wells, and 2 cube-shaped structures, each about 80 meters wide, forming part of a 2-kilometer network under all 3 pyramids. Meanwhile, A 2021 to 2023 Giza survey led by Motoyuki Sato from Tohoku University using ground-penetrating radar revealed an L-shaped structure 6.5 feet deep and a deeper anomaly, possibly a chamber, lying 10 to 33 feet below the surface. These discoveries added to the growing excitement about what might still be hidden beneath the pyramids, hinting that the underground world of Giza is far more complex than previously thought. However, not all claims have been accepted without question. Renowned Egyptologist Dr. Zahi Hawass, former Minister of Antiquities, has dismissed these reports as entirely wrong and fake news. He argues that there is no solid evidence for such extensive underground networks, and that decades of careful studies using muon tomography, gravimetry, and conventional radar have uncovered only a few small voids. Hawass emphasizes the importance of peer-reviewed, evidence-based research, cautioning against sensational claims that lack scientific verification. Adding another layer to the mystery, in March 2025, skeletons from Nubia, predating the pyramids and dated around 3000 BCE, were discovered near the Giza Plateau. Osteologist Dr. Sarah Field's analysis of these remains suggests a broader cultural context for the pyramid's construction, potentially connecting the site to earlier populations. While not directly related to the pyramid's chambers, these findings highlight the long and complex history of the area, suggesting that what we see above ground is only part of the story. Collectively, these discoveries confirm that we still haven't fully mapped the Great Pyramid. Researchers continue to uncover new voids, corridors, and anomalies, despite centuries of exploration and decades of advanced technology. The pyramid, it seems, is far from fully understood, and each breakthrough raises more questions than answers, leaving researchers and enthusiasts alike wondering what secrets remain hidden behind its massive limestone walls. The pyramid's perfect precision. Historians believe that the Great Pyramid was built around 2550 BC for Pharaoh Kufu. Even thousands of years later, it continues to amaze scholars with its precision and careful alignment. The base of the pyramid isn't a perfect square, but its sides are closely aligned to the 4 cardinal points of the compass: north, south, east, and west. But how did the ancient Egyptians achieve such accuracy without modern tools? One idea involves the stars. Scholars think the builders may have used the North Star to line up the pyramid. They did this by studying how the night sky looked thousands of years ago. The North Star, known today as Polaris, was not located in the same position during the time of the pyramid's construction. Instead, they would have used another star in the Little Dipper. By watching the stars, they could achieve a level of precision that still impresses engineers today. The pyramid's builders were not only concerned with alignment, they also seemed to understand geometry. The ratio of the pyramid's base perimeter to its height is thought to roughly equal pi, suggesting the architects might have known about circles and mathematical constants long before other civilizations recorded them. Despite these insights, many questions remain. How did they move massive stones? How did they organize thousands of workers? And how did they achieve this level of accuracy without a compass or wheel? In reality, scholars still lack all the answers. Even so, the Great Pyramid stands as proof of human ingenuity. These structures reflect the Egyptians' architectural skill, mathematical knowledge, and dedication to their pharaohs and gods. The pyramids of Giza have puzzled researchers for centuries, not just because of their hidden chambers and voids, but also due to the skill it took to build them. One of the most surprising facts is just how straight and aligned the sides of the Great Pyramid are. Standing at a height of 138.8 meters, the pyramid's square sides are remarkably straight, almost perfectly aligned along the cardinal points. Archaeologist and engineer Glenn Dash explains, "The builders of the Great Pyramid of Khufu aligned the Great Monument to the cardinal points with an accuracy of better than 4 minutes of arc, or 1/15th of 1 degree. This kind of precision wasn't a one-time achievement. It seems the ancient builders followed the same careful methods across multiple pyramids. It's not just Khufu's pyramid. All 3 of the largest Egyptian pyramids, 2 at Giza and 1 at Dashur, are remarkably aligned. Interestingly, Dash notes, all 3 show a similar pattern. All 3 pyramids exhibit the same manner of error. They are rotated slightly, counterclockwise from the cardinal points. Many theories try to explain this accuracy. Some suggest the Egyptians used the pole star or the sun's shadow. Dash proposed another idea, the autumnal equinox. On the equinox, the length of day and night is nearly equal. Using a gnomon, a simple rod to cast shadows, ancient builders could have mapped the sun's movement. Dash even recreated the experiment himself on the 22nd of September 2016, tracking the shadow's tip to create a straight east-west line. Dash's experiment also explains the slight counterclockwise error, matching the orientation of the Khufu and Khafra pyramids at Giza and the Red Pyramid at Dashur. While we can't prove the Egyptians actually used this method, it shows that something as simple as tracking shadows on the equinox could have been enough to align these massive structures with astonishing precision. This level of accuracy suggests the builders weren't just skilled, they were intentional, perhaps even thinking far ahead. If they built secret doors this well, maybe they meant for us to discover them only much later. Secrets of the Pyramid, uncovered by cosmic particles. Scientists are getting a clearer glimpse into the Great Pyramid's hidden secrets thanks to a clever imaging technique called muon radiography. First tested at Giza over 50 years ago, this method relies on muons, subatomic particles similar to electrons, but 200 times heavier. Muons are created when cosmic rays from extreme objects in the Milky Way strike Earth's atmosphere, producing a shower of particles that constantly rains down on us. These particles have just the right properties to pass through solid stone while being detectable with special emulsion films and muon detectors. Using this technology, 2 teams, one from Japan's Nagoya University and another from France's Atomic Energy Commission, set up detectors inside the pyramid's descending corridor and a tourist entrance passage. Facing the north face corridor, the detectors revealed a hidden corridor 9 meters long and 2 meters wide, first detected in 2016. Muon imaging is non-invasive, meaning it doesn't damage the pyramid. By detecting subtle changes in density, it enables scientists to build accurate 3D models of structures from the outside. Researchers are now closer than ever to deciphering the pyramid's secret layout thanks to AI analysis. However, scientists continue to exercise caution. Each new discovery carries the risk of upsetting history, necessitating a measured, careful, and deliberate approach. Do you think the Great Pyramid still holds secrets waiting to be discovered? Maybe even a hidden chamber or ancient treasure? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to click on the next video on your screen, like this video, and subscribe to our channel for more amazing discoveries.